I had been a paranormal investigator for years, and then I attended a reading with Pamela Theresa, Medium in the Raw on New Year's Eve of 2012, and saw a side of the spirit world that changed my life forever. I met Pamela Theresa, Medium in the Raw in July of 2012, and that New Year's was going to be our first New Year's Eve together. Now, usually when you're new in a relationship and it's your first New Year's Eve together, you make plans to do something, and be together and be romantic. That wasn't the case for Pamela and I. We spent our first New Year's Eve changing two lives forever, mine and a perfect stranger. We had recently become a couple after meeting each other in July and working with each other as she was helping me open up my spiritual gifts. But I had never seen her do her job as a medium, connecting people to their loved ones on the other side, until New Year's Eve of 2012, going into 2013. She had gotten a call from a gentleman who said his father was in heavy grief from losing his mother, his soulmate. And he actually was concerned for his father because if you've lost somebody very dear to you, and the holidays can be really hard for people in heavy grief. And the gentleman was genuinely concerned for his father's welfare. So Pamela, of course, decided to do a reading for the gentleman's father on New Year's Eve. And she asked me to go with her on this reading. So we went to the gentleman's house, and he was very nice, very cordial. His wife had passed 3 years prior, and this was his soulmate. She meant the world to him. She had passed after a brief battle of cancer 3 years prior, but he never had gotten over his grief. In fact, her purse still sat on the counter in the kitchen. Her toothbrush still hung in the toothbrush holder in the bathroom, and her clothes were still in the closet. Everything was exactly as she had left it the day she passed 3 years prior. And this man was living in this house with his wife's belongings all around him, obviously swirling in grief, which is not uncommon when people lose their soulmate or somebody very important to them. So Pamela did the reading for the gentleman, and I sat quietly watching, and the validations were coming through. His wife talked about her illness, talked about things that Pamela wouldn't know. And the gentleman validated all of this stuff. And I'm witnessing this for the first time, her being a medium. I had taken her on investigations as a ghost whisperer, but I'd never seen her connect clients to their loved ones on the other side, their heavenly loved ones on the other side. His wife was not a ghost, she was transitioned, but she was coming through loud and clear with validations to let her husband know that it was her and that she was okay. Then we did an EVP session for the gentleman. I brought my recorder out and I recorded, and he asked his wife some questions. And we played it back, and he heard his wife's voice responding to his questions. Then something even more incredible happened. Pamela Teresa is a true spiritual medium. She sees and hears the spirit world like you see and hear me right now. She told the gentleman where his wife was standing in the room because she was right there with us. And she told him that you can feel her. So she walked the gentleman over to where his wife was standing. And she said, if you slide your hand out right here, you'll feel your wife. The gentleman did as instructed, and he felt the presence of his wife. He felt the energy tingle in his hand and a density change in the air where she was standing. It was profound for him and for me. I'd never seen Pamela do this for somebody before. I've seen it many times since, but that was the first time I ever witnessed her let a client feel their loved one on the other side. That's a benefit for her where she can see where they're physically standing and knowing that they'll let their loved ones feel them. It was life changing for the man and for me. When I arrived at the house a couple hours prior, there was a very dim light in the man's eyes. He was obviously not in a good place. When he heard his wife's voice on that recorder, he said, this changes everything. That session probably saved that man's life. It's emotional to even talk about it. Seeing the transformation in that man who was on the brink of having a bad night. But when he told Pamela, this changes everything. He had a light in his eyes. He had a smile on his face. He was a changed man. And that changed me, witnessing that for the first time. And I realized, my God, what she does is the most important thing in the world. She's showing the continuity of life. She's proving that we don't just die, that when we pass on from the physical, we're not dead. We're right there with our loved ones, trying to help them move on with their life. Now, the wife came through in the reading and she told him that he should try to think about moving on with his life and find new companionship, which he was reluctant to do because a part of him died with her. So I hope that he did follow the guidance. This was 12 years ago. I do hope that he followed the guidance and that he moved on with his life. He definitely had a different outlook. He knew that his wife was not floating on a cloud somewhere or buried in the ground. He knew his wife was there with him and that she wanted him to be happy. His life changed that night, and so did mine. Since then, I've witnessed thousands of reads with Pamela Theresa. I've seen lots of lives touched and changed forever because they have awareness now that life continues after death and that our loved ones are there trying to help us. If you'd like to experience a session like that with Pamela Theresa, she does Zoom sessions or in-person sessions. You can schedule at PamelaTheresa.com. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for more My Haunted Medium Life.